Hello, 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 and welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. I am 𝗕𝗢𝗄𝗃. So glad you're joining me for what I call our continual connection. I'm here with you just about every night about this time, going live on Facebook, live on YouTube at the same time. And then I post this all over my social media platforms. It's a real good clips. You guys ask me great questions. I'll cut out maybe a 10-minute section or so and post it on TikTok. It'll be on Instagram, all at 𝗕𝗢𝗄𝗃, or LinkedIn. All right. So this is your time to hang out. We can hang out together. You can ask me fitness questions. I know the journey that you're going through. I know how it's frustrating out there a lot of times with so much information out there. Well, I want to be your trusted source. Here I am, about 60 years old, so probably close to your age. I probably have the same mindset, values, and the life set, what you're willing to invest. I know you want this badly. Your health, fitness, for some, you have to. Maybe you didn't take care of it enough when you were younger, or you just have the time now and you want to. You always want to. Now you have the time to do that. The job's pretty much handled, or the kids are gone, all right? So, or they're on their way out. So now's the time you want to focus on it. Sometimes that's not the case at all. Sometimes that's not the case at all. In my 32 years of fitness, whether they were younger or older, and I still see it at this age, is that sometimes, life is uncertain. Things don't go quite the way that you had planned. They're not going the way you thought they would go at this age, right? That loss of control, sometimes just digging into your fitness could be the thing that you need to do to gain that sense of control. Take a deep breath, distract yourself from life's challenges until you come up with a plan, or take a deep breath to get into it, right? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of things, anything you want to talk about, workouts, nutrition, life. As we're a little bit older, we can talk about all of that. Say hello, hello, hello. That's our Workouts for Older Men live greeting. Tell me you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Tell me what part of the world you're watching from too. All right. I want to get more guys like you, more men like you here. So thank you in advance for the loves, the likes, the shares. Make sure that you're notified every time we go live. And also make sure you're on my social media platforms, and get over to 𝗕𝗢𝗄𝗃.com. If you haven't been over there, I have a whole library of videos and podcasts. Also, if you're a podcast guy, while you're working out, look up the Workouts for Older Men podcast. It's on all of the podcast platforms, Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. They're on all the platforms, Google Podcasts. So check me out there. Hello, 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 Robin. Robin watching on YouTube. So glad you're here, sir. Mark. Hello, hello, hello from Tucson, Arizona. Mark is watching me from on YouTube. Both Robin and Mark have had the privilege of getting to know you guys, talk to you on the phone. By the way, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, look in the description of this video. We've got so many ways to help you reach your goals. We can do it short period of time. We can take it over weeks if you need some accountability. I can help you do that. Ken, hello, hello, hello. Ken from Asheville. Great to have you here, sir, over on Facebook. If you have any questions, again, if you're watching the replay version, most men do, make sure you post your questions. If not, I'll answer it here live. In the replay version, I can link you to an article. I can answer it directly, but you could be the inspiration for the next video. So I'll just jump on here, and I can dedicate the whole Workouts for Older Men live show to your question, and it can help out a lot of people. Hello, 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 Ken from Louisiana. Ken, I'm so glad you are here. All right. So yeah, talking over my clients, and, you just break down things from different angles. And so yesterday's was about the origin of all this information overload. And I talked about, the Wieder principles back in the day, had this magazine that they were really passionate about, and got their select niche group of men back in the day who wanted to be muscle men, and had the magazine, and back in those days, you sold a lot of magazines around the world, and then you had the supplements. He had to keep all that information fresh, new, and exciting. That's why there's a 1,422 Wieder principles, right? Just variations of the same thing of overload, right? But now, years later, that's just our culture, and it's confusing. All right. So talked about that. That came from one of my coaching calls. You know what, today, as I talk to men, smart men, successful men who have figured a lot of things out in life that I wish I figured out, right? Coming to me, for fitness information. Again, check the links down below, see how you can see if one-on-one coaching is a good fit for you. Instead of looking all over the internet and hoping that you find the right set of strategies, I can help you through it. But talking to so many men, I know all the mental challenges. You have the training routine, you have the diet, right? And then, the systems be organized with all that. But there are certain set of mental challenges. When you're older and you just can join a gym, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, like an Anytime Fitness. They've got plenty of equipment. It's hardcore enough for what we're trying to do, right? And you just put in the effort. You get any training program off the internet, use the machines or maybe a few free weights, and you're consistent. You're going to do all right. There's always a higher level to working out, and then it's going to really be dependent on that diet. But, just the hustle and just going through the journey, that'll get you pretty good. You do that 6 months, 9 months. If you're consistent, you'll look better than most men our age, right? The unfortunate thing, that's not saying much, because that's all it takes. And I know that if you're watching this show and you watch it on a continual basis and you love the information I'm pumping out, just being better than most guys our age who don't even work out, that's no accomplishment. You want to take it to higher levels if you could, if you knew how, if you were certain, right? I know that's the kind of men who join me. But you have to know what you're doing, though, to go from the top 20% of men older who really don't work out to getting that top 5%, so to speak, that you want. And I'll just tell you, many of the challenges, they're mental. They're mental hurdles that I always say that. So to get from the top 20% all by yourself, you're a smart guy. You can do that. But to get that 5%, you got to know what you're doing. And the road to go from that top 20% of men our age to the 5%, that gap is filled with skull and crossbones and carcasses of a lot of men who went on that journey. They couldn't figure it out. They either gave up and settled. They didn't crack the code. It's filled with skulls and crossbones and carcasses of all the men who couldn't make the other side. Most of the time, hello, Pete, it's this mental trap. Right. And I kind of listed all of them. Right. So tell me how much this applies to you, because I'm looking at you guys. Right. And you look great. A lot of you guys have been training for a long time. You got a lot of muscle, and you want to look, just say better. Right. And better is, you want the muscles to pop out differently. That's all getting lean. And that's where, if you don't, crack the code with the nutrition. And I know there's so much information out there. What you did, just move more and eat less, whatever got you to that top 20%, it's not going to work. More the same. And I don't care how much you work out or even how much cardio. You got to have to know how this nutrition thing works. It's not rocket science. It's out there, right? You just got to figure it out. And a lot of men don't address it. But one thing is, like, we get to, I don't know, 22% body fat. You look better than most men. You got some muscle on. You've been training the, people, your friends. Hello, Pete. Your friends are thinking, wow, do you work out? You're the older muscle guy, the gym guy. It's a nice identity. It's a nice distinction. But you want to look better. And you kind of have, I don't know, you're 5'11", 190 pounds, let's say, right? And so what the way you want to look. And so you imagine, like, well, let's see, I got 10 pounds of body fat to lose. I'll gain 10 pounds of muscle. So I should be about 190 pounds when I look the way that you want. I'll start working out. If I have the right training program, I'll even pay attention to my diet and lose that body fat, gain some muscle. maybe I'll go down 5 pounds or whatever, right? And that's just not the way that it works. It will not happen that way. If you do it right, it just won't happen that way. And so what most men do, they start dieting and they may lose 10 pounds. And then they look at themselves and say, this doesn't look good. You know, people at work are saying, still working out? You're looking skinny. And you could feel it too. Those 10 pounds, a lot of times it's off your back and it's not in the right places, right? And so you start doubting the diet. Well, let me just tell you that number one, to lose body fat and keep that weight up, right? So you look good, you still look like the muscle guy. It's a counterintuitive journey to go that route, number one. Anybody can be big at 20%, and you're not going to work your way. You're not going to gain muscle that's going to make those muscles pop out. It's not going to happen through weight training. But if you are stuck on a weight, let's say on 190, you know, the truth of the matter, the way you want to look, it might be like 175. And I know that's hard to believe, and you don't want to do that route. But if you start going down that route and you stop because you think you're losing all your muscle, you're just going to go eat back up, and you're never going to get there. And I don't know what you're waiting for, the next training strategy, next eating strategy, or whatever. It's just because you don't know how the process works. It's one of the mental traps, men thinking they're losing all this hard-earned muscle. They're convinced. But that mental trap, you'll never get to the other side. I've got a whole list of them, you know, again. But I'm curious, how many of you have been in that situation? You have muscle, you got to lose some fat, but when you lost the fat, you lost the weight, but you felt like you're getting skinny. What you're doing was wrong, because you didn't look anything close to the way you wanted, even with the 10 pounds that you worked to get off. Right. So you're thinking, well, what if I'm 20 pounds? I'm going to wither away to nothing. Tell me if that's true in your case. Ken, Skippy, you suggested for me to be 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat when we chatted last Sunday. Any suggestions on how to measure this? I'm trying to find an app. Well, now, first of all, what I'm saying, number one is, depending on, the nutritionist or what you're listening to from one of the crazy passionate, I was one of those crazy passionate fitness experts way back in the day, really before the internet, right? If you think that it has to be this, like your body, you're looking in the mirror and you're at 20% body fat, and that's not the way you want to look. You want to maintain that muscle, but you got to get lean. And if you think there's a secret combination, like can't be 40% protein, that doesn't sound specific now. It's got to be 36, I don't know, 32 and whatever in the fat, like that secret combination. Like, it doesn't work that way. There are diets with higher protein. There's, moderate protein and, lower protein, right? You've seen that. And the same thing with carbs, higher carbs, lower carbs, moderate carbs, the same thing with fat, right? They'll all work. But see, here's the counterintuitive thing, Norma. I can't climb into your mind. But the thing is that this culture, and there's a reason, trust me, I understand exactly all these mental traps, doing this for 32 years, explaining it like 5,000 times and talking to literally thousands of men of what their interpretation is. See, the thing is, if you've been doing this for a while, you totally don't think calories matter, because your favorite fitness expert, I don't count calories. Well, he didn't count calories, but there's something that happened with calories along the way. He just didn't document or doesn't know why. So you can't just not worry about how many calories. And so because of that, anybody with muscle has been training for 15 years. They don't know how many calories they eat. They're convinced it doesn't matter. And so I can say, this is how you figure out how to break it down. I can give you the arithmetic for it, but it won't make sense if you don't value how many calories that you eat. Because instead you think not you, I mean, a person thinks that you got to have these magical grams of protein, right? And so they're working from the macronutrient outward, the calorie total. And that there's an art in finding how many calories you need to build muscle, lose body fat, keep them metabolism running. It's probably more calories than you think. I see a lot of smart guys on TikTok, even when they're younger, they figure this out. you can't just not know how many calories you are. You can't just cut your calories, right? So it really starts from that number that you need. All right. And this is usually what I talk to guys, because I could give out this information. Oh, that doesn't apply to me, and I'm just kind of wasting my time. It's something I got to talk to the individual about. And I'm not just saying that because I want you as a one-on-one client, because I do it all the time and nobody catches it, right? It's just some things you got to get the communication back and forth to make sure the person understands what you're saying. They're putting value on the right things. So if you know your caloric total, you do the arithmetic backwards. All right. So how it would work is that, every gram of protein, you multiply that by 4 for those calories in protein. You multiply by 4 for carbohydrates, multiply by 9 the grams of fat, and that's how many calories. And it's what those total, and then you work backwards. Well, what percentage of protein, carbs, and fat? I remember, when I didn't really start bodybuilding, looking at the magazines until I was like 28 years old. But I remember I had to revisit that arithmetic, how to figure that out, right? But, basically your calories and a certain amount of your calories, 40%, about, it doesn't have to be exactly that, right? I'm not saying that, are in protein. So what would be, I don't know, whatever, just say 2,600 divided, by 40%. How many calories is that? How many calories of the 2,600 calories, let's say, are made up of protein? What's 40%? Then you divide that by 4, and that's how many grams of protein that you would have. Does that make sense? All right. Or you can, plug in your food and kind of just play with it and, take a little of this out, and they'll figure that all out for you in the apps. MyFitnessPal there's lots of apps, but MyFitnessPal is a good app to help you plug that in. All right. So Ken says, if I'm trying to burn fat fast, is it safe to do keto pills? I don't even know what keto pills are and what they're supposed to do. I would definitely say no, right? Pills aren't the way to do it. And you don't want to burn fat fast. There's nothing that's going to help you burn fat fast. I mean, the last thing that would help you do that, at least, was ephedrine, and that's been illegal now, no longer a supplement. I don't know, for close to 17, 15 years, right? I don't know what keto pills are supposed to be doing, but wouldn't be the route that I would take. Steve, hello. Great to have you here, sir. Or ha. What are you? Was that hi skip or ha skip? You got to tell me if I say something funny, because I don't necessarily pride myself or create my identity on being funny, but every once in a while, you guys find things funny, right? So you got to remind me of it, so I'll say it again. All right. Awesome, Norm. All right, guys. Well, did you find that helpful? When I'm done with every one-on-one coaching session, and by the way, you can look in the description of this video to see how we can talk about one-on-one coaching, see if it's a good fit for you. But at the end of every call, I'll ask, would you find it kickstarts ketosis? Or so they say, right? Ken. So anyway, talking about coaching, and at the end of every session, I always ask, what did you find most valuable about the time that we spent together today? I'm curious, because sometimes I'll talk a lot about different things. People take different meanings. So post that in the comment section down below. I'm curious what you found most valuable about the time that we spent together today. All right, let's take on the day with a sense of urgency. We have to when we're a little bit older. We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Let's work out with a sense of urgency. Let's eat right. Let's do whatever it takes calmly so we can finally get this taken care of and have the body that you want. All right, let's connect with the people we care about most with a sense of urgency. Let's produce at the job. We're still producing, right, at this age. Let's sprint to the end. We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Have a great day.